We are in Harlem, New York at the Urban Academy for Future Leaders. I have known the principal of this school, Principal Joseph Gates, for quite some time. And he had told me about the school and the theme and how they're producing the next level of leadership in our community. And he thought it would be a great idea to use some of my experiences in filmmaking to bring students in his school together around filmmaking and doing a documentary on the definition of leadership, what makes an effective leader, and help them discover the leadership within themselves. And so I looked at the school, I looked at the school's theme. It's the Urban Academy for Future Leaders. Why not do a leadership project? How are you?
I'm good today. How are you?
I'm good. Could you please tell us your name?
My name is Wasim Alamisi.
Mia Thomas.
My name is Falon Yaru.
My name is Lynn Green.
My name is Lauren Span.
My name is Fatim Kuyate.
Who are you studying in terms of your leadership project?
Obama, the 44th President of the United States of America. Ex-President Barack Obama.
So you have an interesting story about President Obama. You had an opportunity to actually
meet him.
Tell me about that. What was that like?
It was really crazy. It was like really interesting too at the same time.
What was the program about? Like, how did you end up meeting him? What were you involved in that got you an opportunity to meet President Obama?
I was a part of like a robotics camp, like not I say camp, a robotics class. And I was like one of the best students who like really actually loved robotics. And then they took me to the place where I had to speak in front of like 2,000 people and in front of Barack Obama too.
What was that like?
It was scary, but like since I repeated every line and went over through my whole script, then I got to go over my fear to speak in front of a lot of people.
Now there's the word on the streets is that you got a picture.
Yes.
With the 44th President of the United States. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing. Who was the leader that you were profiling?
The leader I was profiling was Roxanne Shante.
And what have you learned about her?
I've learned that basically, like she started this whole thing with female rap. Basically, like she was like a pioneer for it. She started the whole line of basically females getting to rap.
I'm focusing on Rosa Parks, one of the many leaders throughout history.
And you're looking at her leadership style?
Yes.
Okay, so you're gonna look at what Rosa Parks contributed to society, but you're also gonna look at the kind of leader she was.
Yes. From what I learned, she was a transactional leader. She took actions for what she believed in, and a transformational leader, because what she did transformed other people to stand up.
And these terms, transactional, transformational, you learned that as a result of this project?
Yes, exactly, I did.
Well, I'm looking at Donald Trump as a leader, and I found out he's like a transactional leader.
And what's that?
It's when the leader takes action, like goes right into it and informs people what to do.
Now, would you say that he's an effective leader? Like, as part of your research, since you've researched him, you know, a lot of people have different things to say about him. Would you say that he's effective, ineffective, a good leader, a bad leader? Like, how do you see him based upon your research?
Well, for me, I think he's a bit ineffective because there has been some things he's been doing that's not right. For example, how he's trying to make a border.
What about that?
Well, because it's like kind of separating us from Mexico. Mm-hmm. So that means lots of other people want to be able to come here.
When you look at the different leadership theories, what leadership theory speaks to you?
Transactional and laissez-faire.
Why?
Okay, me, I don't like to like push people, but when it comes to the time to push people, I will have to. So basically laissez-faire is basically like laid back. Like I'm a laid back person, I don't like to like push people. But when it's like serious times, I can be a transactional person.
And what kind of, that's great. Now, when you look at Roxanne Shante and her leadership, and you look at your leadership, like what kind of leadership would you say, what kind of leader would you say Roxanne Shante is?
I would say transformation in a way.
Why?
Inspire people to like do like rap, because some people felt like they couldn't do it in a way because it's just males in rap. So when she like started it, basically it changed everything. So people felt like they could do it now.
So women felt like, hey, I have a voice and I have something to say too.
Yeah, basically.
And give their perspective. Wow. Our other interviewees talked about transactional leadership, transformational leadership. Do you have an understanding of these terms?
Yes, I do.
Could you explain to us your understanding of those terms?
Transactional leaders, when you do something, you get an award from it.
Okay. And if you don't do something, you would get a
punishment.
Okay. And so, all right. So then, what's the difference between that and a transformational leader?
The difference between transformational and transactional is that when you do something, you don't get punished for it, or you don't get an award. You just get inspired.
So yeah, and you said laissez-faire leadership.
Yes.
Okay. And what is that?
A leader who takes action, but someone who's like very stern, they're like kind of laid back. They don't take action as if someone who's very strong and wants it their way.
What would you say is your personal leadership approach?
If something were to happen and I would have to be put in a situation of being the leader, then not because of me, but I want it better for everyone else too. I want to be able to persuade others to listen to me. I don't just want to be that leader who very stern and nobody likes and nobody wants to listen to. I want to be that person who says, all right, he's very strict, but we have to listen to him.
What kind of leader are you?
I'm like a laid back leader because I don't really like to take action sometimes. I like to let people learn from their own mistakes.
Well, I feel that if I was going to be a leader, I'll probably be more of a transactional because I want to get things done quickly and all that.
So you like the kind of take charge approach to leadership?
Yes.
You have been at this school for 3 years. What has the experience been like?
Wow. We were actually the first class to be a part of the new school because it used to be two different schools, RLA and New Tech. So we were the first class to come into a joint school, and we have seen all these people and all our friends change and made so many memories of becoming like little adults that you don't see all the time. And it's really cool because we had a principal here before Mr. Gates, and she was Ms. Jackman, and it was a good school, but now it's really, really good because the academics are on point, the behavior's on point, the uniform's on point, everything's in order, and we have so many more good times.
Wow, so you would say that Mr. Gates has been a positive influence on the school?
Yes.
Well, in 6th grade, the school was like crazier. Like it was wild, like really wild. But now, since it's 8th grade, the school has finally found a calming down. Like it calmed down. There's no more fights. Well, there is fights, but not that much. And
would you say that Mr. Gates is a big reason why that is?
yeah, because he's really strict. Like if he sees something, he's gonna do something about it.
So we're doing this program on leadership, and that's what you're describing is a transactional leader.
Yes.
So you would say Mr. Gates is transactional.
Definition of leadership?
I feel like a good leader is someone who always takes control of a situation best. They know how to give direction and take direction at the same time.
My definition of leadership is when you hold your own ground, you do what you believe in. Other people can contribute to what you believe in, but you write your own path and you follow it.
Leadership was when Obama was president. He was human, he was humble, and he was a good example of what a man should be.
Definition of a leader is to actually take the leadership role and make sure that everything is put into place and manage whatever, if it's going to be people or machinery or people behind you or anything like that. But basically it's development of building people's character.
Well, I am a leader, so you know. But my definition of leadership is someone who, like Amaya said, holds their own, know what they want to do, have a good mind frame of something you want to do, you know. A leader is someone who is strong, who's confident. You always have to have confidence if you want to be a leader, and you have to know what you want to do to become a leader and be a leader.
Being a leader is being yourself. Never follow your own path, never following nobody else's path.
Got it. What leaders has inspired you?
Okay, Frederick Douglass. People like the presidents that actually they came before us, and then maybe some Malcolm X, who was a leader, and Martin Luther King was a leader, and people who actually inspired people in my community to look forward into the future and on a positive level.
My wife.
It's definitely my mom. I know that's cliche, but my mom really inspires me. She holds down the whole family. I have 3 leaders. One is my dad, one is Will Smith, and one is Alicia Keys. I say that because my dad, you know, I didn't really have my mom, so he's a big part of my life, and he showed me never to be a follower, to always be a leader. So, you know, Alicia Keys, she's a young black woman. She did a lot, especially for the community, and you know that's good. Will Smith, he always shows what he believes in. He doesn't care what nobody says or how somebody says it.
I feel like my leader is Joseph Shanahan, assistant principal, UA Performing Arts. He a great leader.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What's your name?
Jasania Rodriguez.
Mr. Duce.
My name is Miss Glover.
Hi, I'm Lachey Bailey.
My name is Devon Buxton.
So what are some things that you do in this school?
So I'm really the phys ed teacher, right? But I do other stuff like teach STEM, computer science. I push into 2 other classes, math and English.
What do you do to help the kids?
I have my degree in sound engineering, so I try to teach the children how, instead of having just to be an athlete, besides reading a book, you can also do music. You can do an audio book. You can do sound for film. You can do sound for music. I want to give them a different outlet.
Do you teach? What subject do you teach?
Well, I work at AFL, Academy of Future Leaders. I'm the Algebra 1 Regents teacher.
I have many titles in which I do at the school. I'm a dean, I'm a coach, mentor. There's many titles we hold. Sometimes I hold down the classroom as a teacher. So there's many titles in which I hold.
Well, can I know what you define leadership as?
Well, leadership is just the ability of influencing people with an objective in mind. It's the ability to see the big pictures, but influencing other people to kind of see the project through.
I see.
It's standing alone sometimes for your integrity or for whatever it is that you believe in.
So my definition of a leader is a person who is created and shaped that wants to lead people or wants to lead a change in society or in a culture. I don't myself consider myself a leader. I do consider myself a change agent.
What is a leader to you?
A leader is someone who will sacrifice anything for the greater good, even if it's themselves. They'll be on the front line to defend anything that they truly believe in.
That's a great question. I think as a leader, I try to be an active leader, someone that leads by example.
Yeah.
So when we talk about leadership, I think it's real important that we understand that in order to lead, you have to have people that follow. Mm-hmm. And the influences that you set have to be appropriate. So I try to make sure that I speak what I live and live what I speak.
Do you know any leaders that inspire you?
Of course. A few are Malcolm X, Assata Shakur, of course my grandmother, Michelle Obama, Oprah, and my mother. So like, let's say with Assata Shakur, she knew during the Black Panther movement, she wanted us to be able to have our own and not constantly be ripped down for just wanting to be black. Or Malcolm X, knowing that we deserve the same thing that everybody else gets. You shouldn't put me down just because I'm black. I was born just like you were born. I breathe like you breathe. I eat how you eat. Why am I any less important than you are?
So a change agent is, I want to be a person who wants to invoke change, right, in society. A leader is somebody who creates situations and creates movements for people to follow. As a change agent, I don't need people to follow. I want people to look at change. If I'm a change agent, be willing to make a change with me.
Oh, so right now, do you have any leaders who are influencing you?
Yes. Recently, I would have to say my most recent one would be the principal before the other one, Cordia Dixon.
Oh, can you tell me why?
I think because he was the first person to kind of let me fly and trust myself to do things. I was always second guessing myself, like, should I do this? Should I do it this way? And he kind of just allowed for me and my creativity to just come out and trust myself and to do the things that I wanted to do.
Oh, well, I have to say, first and foremost, my leadership came from my family, my mother and father, who were both leaders within their own right. My father grew up in foster care, ultimately became a college professor, a community activist, a civil rights leader. My mother, when she was young, she actually had to escape as a young child from a sharecropping plantation. And that's like, sharecroppers were like the way to reintroduce slavery. Even though it was illegal, they were still living under the conditions of slavery as sharecroppers. So my mother had to escape that with her mother at a very early age. And she came to Shreveport, Louisiana. She ended up going to college where she met my father and moved back up here to New York, and the rest is history. So to me, they are my leaders. They have been leaders within their family, and they continue to exercise leadership.
So I belong to a really big church in Harlem, First Corinthian. We do a lot of community service in the community and beyond the community. We work with a lot of homeless shelters, work with a lot of youth organizations. And so because of the leadership of that church, I think they inspire a lot of us to want to follow.
Yes, first, of course, it starts home with your family. My parents were good leaders.
Has it changed you anyway? Like,
absolutely. I trust myself a little bit more.
Did it also change the way you lead?
Yes.
Can you give me an example?
One of the things that he used to do was encourage people. He knows the strength of new people, so he knows their strength. And he kind of placed people according to their strength, but he also knows their weaknesses, and he developed those weaknesses into people in order for us to get all of us to be stronger as a whole.
And have you influenced people?
I would like to think so. Outside of teaching kids mathematics, I also do basketball. So I try to use the sport of basketball as a globe, right? To let people know that there's bigger things out there. Basketball as a globe just means that it can take you anywhere in the world. You can meet people that you wouldn't normally had the experience or the opportunity to meet. Brings all different races, cultures, creeds together.
Okay, why do those leaders inspire you?
For Malcolm X, how strong he was. And even though people bombed his house or even threatened his family and his friends, he still stood tall in his message. You cannot break me. You will not break me. I can only break myself, and that's not gonna happen. Assata Shakur, when I don't know if you read her book, but the state troopers, they said that she killed the state trooper. So like they was beating her while she was on the ground, like they would step on her, even though she had blood in her lungs and everything. They didn't treat her like she was a human being. When she was in jail, she got pregnant somehow, but they made sure that she didn't have any doctor's visits. She couldn't eat. They kept her confined. So those things made her, even though they tried to break her down, in the inverse, it made her stronger. You're not gonna break me. That like I am strong. No matter what you do, as long as I stay strong here, you can't do anything to me. But you can't take away what I know. You only take away what I have.
So you said before that you help some homeless people. How does that make you feel?
It's a humbling experience because on any given day you could be in that situation. So we enjoy working with them. I think it's just the joy of giving back and just being able to just treat them a little extra nicer than other people would treat them. And they're really nice people. So because their living situation is not the best, doesn't mean that their heart and their spirit are not the greatest.
Has there been a leader that inspired you?
I want to say about 10 years ago, when Barack Obama became president,
Yeah.
that was huge for me because growing up, I never thought that there would be a black president, a female president. Thought that what we saw was what it was, and I didn't think that there was any hope for anybody. So him coming out with that catchphrase, hope, that was big for me. So Barack Obama was one of those guys that showed me that I do have a chance to actually be a leader and be good at it.
How have the things that you've gone through made you who you are?
It gave me a tougher skin, honestly, because as a kid, I wasn't too sure of what I wanted. I wasn't too sure of who I honestly was, but then when I looked at the people that I had around me, I realized that I can do anything. That, like my grandmother having cancer and still getting 2 master's degrees. That I can do that. I'm alive. I'm not sick, so nothing can stop me. That was embedded in my mind. That you are the one thing. You control your life. No one else but you. So fight, no matter how much it may hurt. Fight through it, because at the end you're gonna feel better about it. You're gonna feel like you did everything. I hate that I'm crying, but this is all part of my story. This is real.
So your grandmother has impacted you a lot.
Yeah. My grandmother was part of the reason why I go so hard. Even my mother, because seeing her wake up every day and still go to work and then go to school and then come home and still take care of my uncle and everybody else, knowing that she was sick, I can do anything. Like how is your own body fighting against you and you're still pushing past it? Because I feel like she knew the impact that would have on the rest of us. I can do anything. Nothing can stop me unless I allow it to, and I will not. I cannot. Can't shouldn't be in my vocabulary, but I can't let those things dictate what I'm going to do. Never. I got one life. I gotta live it to the fullest.
So have you ever worked on a film project prior to this?
I have never worked on a film project prior to this.
So what is the experience like? Do you like it? Is it something that you're interested in?
Yes, my father actually been on the production team, so I was actually very happy that I could have the same experience as him.
Have you had any conversations with your father about the project that you're working on, and has he shared any production tips with you?
Yes and no, because before he actually gave me some tips and because I usually help him with some interviews that he's been doing.
So when you first heard about the project, what was your reaction or your thoughts?
My reaction was, oh dear God. I hope it'll be interesting. Hope it's not some like lame project that we're gonna just talk about being leaders and that's it. And then over time, yes, it became tiring having to like work and do work. But we learned so much new stuff. I learned like how to work the camera, how to take amazing photo, camera speeding, sound speeding, all these different types of stuff that I would not have known by myself.
Now, are you learning something different about filming versus photography? Like, what are some of the things that you've learned about the process of putting a film together?
Well, I learned that like in film, you have to film a bunch of things and then put it all together. So it's a bit different than photography.
Yeah. And when you think about filming, I know we haven't done anything in terms of editing as of yet, but what's more attractive to you? Is it being in front of the camera, behind the camera, working with the sound? Like what is some of the things that you like?
Well, I like being behind the camera because it's way easier for me. And also I get to experience the camera.
When you were working the sound equipment and being the sound engineer, what were you doing? What were you learning? What were you experiencing?
Basically, like if you have like the mic on you, I can control you when you're speaking and when you're not speaking. And there's like a record button to record, and there's like a pause button to like pause when the person is speaking and when they're not speaking. Basically.
And what did you learn in terms of the importance of sound as relates to making a video?
The sound can basically like mess up a video if it's not good.
So you like a lot of the behind the scenes.
Because I don't like being in front of the camera, not as much as you behind the camera.
So yeah, so but you really like behind the scenes and getting those angles and what have you. Is there any other part like so? I mean, I know you like to film, you like to be behind the scenes and edit, but is there any other part of production that, let's say, you learned through this process that you say, hey, I could kind of, with a little bit more time, get into that as well?
The sound, because it shows like you would have to be really good with audio and listening and leading those little mistakes. And so I feel like I would be able to handle that and look at the little mistakes or the little voices that would need to be tweaked or something.
And what about now this new experience that you are having through this project? What has that been like for you in terms of being a part of this school project?
Well, it's been really exciting since I was able to touch a camera and all that. And also have to be able to learn about the sounds, how to be a director.
What do you hope to, at the end of this project, when it's presented to people, what do you hope, let's say your peers or your parents or friends, what do you hope that they learn from your documentary?
I hope that they learn how to become better leaders, because like bad leaders aren't that good. And I hope that it makes a good impact on them and they make a good impact on other people.
I want people who are watching this to know that you don't have to be someone who is big or someone who is well known just to make a change. You can do it however you want, however you need to. You can do it in your school, you can do it in your house, you can do it in your neighborhood. And that a leader isn't always someone who is good. If you feel that you were leading a bad example, try changing that and leading a good example. Or if you know that you were like, not saying this is good, but that you're like the most like popular and like you're a bully, try changing the people that like follow you and like or behind you and listening to you, like they whisper in their ear. Try telling them, oh, this is wrong. We should actually change this. This is wrong. Stop. We need to do better. We need to help this world because there's a lot of stuff going on, and with all this negativity, we could use some positivity.
Thank you, Wasim. I appreciate you.
The thing I hope they take from this is like what they think leadership is to them, their own definition.
Oh, like I want them to get inspired to do film themselves and to teach the next generation and therefore and there on how to be like a great leader.
I hope they know the true meaning of being a leader, and I hope they do the positive stuff instead of the negative.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.